Hi, I'm the Quantum Rizzler. Would you like to draw 2 cards? Kira.
Hi, I'm the Pauper All-Star Tutor that's apparently playable in Standard. Meia.
Hi.
Hi.
What are we talking about today?
Standard.
Ooh,
I
what
know,
a shock.
I know.
So what are we talking about in Standard? Because Standard right now is a little, you know.
It is definitely a little, you know,
Mhm.
and that is kind of exactly not what we're talking about today.
Okay, so if we're not talking about the obvious Standard stuff, what are we talking about?
So, kind of under the surface of Standard at the moment.
Mhm.
When you take the top 4 decks, which are currently 75% of the metagame, and you just kind of look at the next couple, there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on in terms of the development and the brewing of new decks, and the really the cleaning up of a lot of these sort of rogue decks that are kind of congealing into something that's really exciting, and especially with the presumably predictable banning coming in November.
Oh, the inevitable banning.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but no, we cannot make any guarantees, but
We don't know for certain, but
there are a couple of decks that I think are really, really cool that are sort of boiling below the surface that I want to talk about because these decks are really cool and they're really fresh and they do a lot of really interesting things. And importantly, there's kind of something sitting below the surface for everyone. I found stuff across every archetype that is really compelling that I wanted to sit down and play.
is this the Marit Lage of Standard decks?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the flying indestructible 2020 Standard decks that are just below the surface that we haven't yet gotten to see, because I think you said something, you messaged me a while ago and you said something like the top 2 decks in the meta are 70% of the meta.
Yeah, it's a little bit less than that now, but it's something
And
like that.
that's a lot
It's a lot.
for 2 decks
It's
to
a lot.
have such a majority meta share. So what's the first deck you want to talk about?
So I'm going to start with aggro because that's the
Sure.
best place to start. And the deck that I kind of want to talk about is Simic Aggro.
Simic Aggro.
Simic Aggro, you say? Simic Aggro. It's so cool. So this is Ouroboros.deck.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm in. Tell me more. Space Worm?
Space
Please.
Worm? What?
Please,
It is
tell me.
playing 4 Ouroboros, but it's literally just this blue-green, really aggressive turn creature sideways play Ouroboros deck. It's on 4 Llanowar elves. You're playing Surak. You're doing cheeky tempo things as well. You have a couple of Into the Floodmoors. You have a couple of Flood Pits Drowners. You've got some Mockingbirds to play with. It's literally just play creature, play creature, play creature, play Ouroboros.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Also, sometimes if you play creature, play Ouroboros because 2 of those creatures were Llanowar elves.
Yeah, or even one of those
Or even
creatures.
Yep.
You have game against the controlling strategies as well because you have Enduring Curiosity's main board. So sometimes you just Flood Pits Downer, untap Curiosity, hit you, draw 3 cards, which is a play pattern that a lot of aggro decks historically haven't really had access to. Surak just beats control decks.
Don't even. The last RCQ that I played,
Uh-huh.
I was on control.
Okay.
And I went up against a Golgari, a good old Golgari mid-range deck with main deck Surak. What happens when all of my cards target cards that you control?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, this sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, it is really cool. And you do have a lot of counterplay against the top 2 best decks as well. So against Vivi and Mono Red, because you are the bigger aggro deck against Mono Red, right? You have Ouroboros, you have Surak, you have things that go big, and you have really cheap, really key pieces of interaction for things like Screaming Nemesis. And you have a reasonably good matchup against the Cauldron decks because Into the Floodmoor is really good. You just go boing.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like this. It's rare. I feel like we haven't necessarily seen a super aggressive deck that's not playing red. We've had Gruul aggro, we've had mono red aggro, especially. That's one of the dominant archetypes right now. But we've not seen an aggro deck without red lately.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see that in specifically blue-green colors, which is not something you typically associate with aggro decks. The most recent blue-green aggro deck I can think of was the like Teething Wormlet Artifact deck from like 2 years ago.
Yes, I remember cookies was a really big thing. Like
Cookie Run.
I'm remembering like the Teething Wormlet, Tough Cookie, Zoetic Glyph decks that were playing like Spyglass Iron with the intent of Zoetic Glyphing a clue to turn it into a flying 5/4 or whatever it is, which is ridiculous. So yeah, we haven't seen really a Simic deck in the same way since then. So,
and it's playing some very cool new cards. So as part of this discussion of decks, I want to talk about my favorite card from each deck.
Okay.
And my favorite card from this deck is
Ouroborid.
Genomorph Imago.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is this the one that animates a land?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just play a land, turn something into a 3/3, and if you have too many lands because you flood it out, you just make a 6/6 every turn. It's 2 mana. It's crazy.
Okay.
It's just very cool. This deck is sick. And if you like aggressive styles, if you like a green-based deck, if you enjoy Ouroborid, which I know I do, pick it up. Give it a go. It's awesome.
Okay. Well, that's really exciting. I'm happy to know that that's a fringe tier 2, tier 3 deck that exists right now.
It's not even super fringe, right?
Yeah.
It's not even super fringe, right? Like you have the top 4 decks, but this is like 2 more decks down. It's like mid to high range tier 2 because it's very powerful and it's well positioned, which we love.
I like that. Okay. So besides Simic Aggro,
Yep.
what else is the Marit Lage? What else is kind of below the surface?
Well, moving on to tempo.
Okay.
Because we'll do it through the archetypes. I
Right.
think.
Okay. Tempo.
It would not be a standard deck discussion episode if I didn't talk about Orzhov Pixie.
Take a shot.
I mean, no, it's really good.
Okay.
It's really good.
Well, I mean, Pixie has remained a decent enough deck. People are always my impression at the events that I've played at is people are always playing Pixie in some way. So what is this Pixie deck doing?
So this Pixie deck is actually outperforming Esper Pixie at the moment.
Okay.
And this is because there are a couple of variants of Orzhov Pixie going around. I'm talking about what I'm calling small Pixie. It's the Pixie deck that's leveraging Optimistic Scavenger, and it's playing basically 10 Pixies because it's playing 4 Nurturing Pixie, 4 Sunpearl Kirin, and 2 Ambrosia. It's very, very cool. You're on the standard nowhere to run things. You're not really leaning into the discard element.
Oh, so like no momentum breakers.
There are momentum breakers, but I think there are 2.
Okay.
And they're used mostly to get big things out of the way where your like Rim Baubles won't suffice. And it's playing like 3 very cool new Spider-Man cards. It's playing Arachne, as predicted.
Oh, you did talk about Arachne.
Yep. So it's got two Arachne mainboard in the versions that I've been looking for. It's playing The Origin of Spider-Man, which is a 1 and a white saga that makes a 2/1 and puts counters on things.
Okay.
And it's playing The Death of Gwen Stacy. It's just leveraging these cool like enchantment synergy cards that are making like spiders and putting +1/+1 counters on things and exiling graveyards and killing creatures. It's extremely tempo forward because it has to be, right? This is not the kind of deck that is drawing enough cards to like grind you out into the late game, but like Cosmic Grand Zenith is still a good card. It's just playing a removal spell on turn 1, a Pixie on turn 2, and making spiders on turn 3 and 4 and turning the creatures sideways. And it's working. It's working really well.
That is more Spider-Man cards, I think, than I expected.
So many! It's crazy!
Like, genuinely, if you had even said just Arachne, I'd be like, wow, it's really impressive that there's a Spider-Man card in this deck. And then you proceeded to name 2 more Spider-Man
Yeah, there were 3 mainboard, and they're all good.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
My favorite card out of this particular pile is the Death of Gwen Stacy.
Okay.
So it is 3 mana, but it just says destroy target creature, and then like either deal your opponent 3 damage or they discard a card, and then you get to rebuy that a bunch of times.
I did get a set of Death of Gwen Stacy, not even on a recommendation from anyone, not even from Ben. I looked at that card and I said, Black is really struggling for removal still. Like we remain poor on Black removal right now. And I figured, anything that says destroy target creature is pretty good in most books.
Destroy target creature with upside has got to be good, right?
Well, and again, especially because it's on a saga, and that's actually something really interesting to mention is most kill spells, sagas that have kill spells in a self-bounce style deck are going to be in some ways like infinitely more valuable than your go for the throats, your cut downs, your anoint with afflictions because of the ability to rebuy them. That's good. When you see things like Awaken the Honored Dead and, in previous formats, Binding of the Old Gods, Elspeth Conquers Death and things like that, the ability to pick up that permanent and play it again and rebuy that effect is really powerful.
For sure. And with the normal play patterns for sagas, most of the time, even if you are buying them back, you're getting 2 chapters. Because you're playing them, you're getting the effect, then you're going to your next turn, untapping, getting the second effect at the start of your main phase, and then returning it to your hand to play again. So a 3-mana artifact that says destroy target creature, your opponent discards a card or loses 3 life, rebuy? That just seems pretty good.
It has a similar effect or style as Momentum Breaker. Momentum Breaker being a permanent that you can, rebuy and pick up again. And it has that modal kind of effect of either sacrifice a vehicle or a creature or your opponent discards a card. But the ability to kind of, as you say, get 2 or 3 different things off of that enchantment. You have the first chapter triggering, then the second pick it up, play it again. I like that, and I will stand by the fact I have always been a fan of the Orzhov Pixie variants over the Esper Pixie variants, not even just for mana color considerations, but I find a more streamlined approach in the Pixie decks tend to work a lot better. The Esper Pixie variant has way more card draw, but you could argue in a way that picking up your own things and playing them all over again is a form of card draw. I'm just going to play the same 10 cards for this whole game.
Don't need card draw if your opponent's dead. Don't need card draw if your opponent's dead.
I mean, that's the best kind of removal is player removal.
It remains true.
Okay.
It remains true.
So that's Pixie. That's Tempo. What's next?
Combo.
Okay.
So there were kind of 2 decks competing for this slot, but I've chosen to talk about Omni. It's back.
Oh, Omniscience is back.
And this time it's green.
I love a green deck.
Green decks are very cool. This deck is actually really cool because it's making use of the station lands, the tap station lands, and Coma. So when I was first looking at this deck list, right, I saw 4 of the Gaius Cradle station land,
the Avendo,
and 4 of the Tolarian Academy station land, which is Uthros. And I was looking, and I'm like, there are 2 creatures in this deck and no artifacts. What's going on? And then I thought about it a tiny bit more, and I'm like, oh, you're just like playing Coma and tapping it to station your land, and getting the trigger immediately to put the Omniscience into play.
Wait, is that what Uthros does?
Uthros has station.
Yeah.
So you just tap 4 mana.
Yeah.
Cast the Coma. Sorry, not the Coma. Kona? The
rescue beastie.
Yeah. And then you tap it to the station land.
That's why I was so confused. I was like thinking like
The snake.
Coma World Eater.
Yeah.
Like it's impressive that you're playing this 9-drop or whatever it is. I think it's 7. I think it's 3 blue, green.
I think you're right.
I was like, very impressive that you're managing to play this 7-drop for 4 mana. Wonder how you're doing that. Kona.
Yes, rescue beastie.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
And then you just like put Omniscience into play.
Yeah, and then you do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, then you could play the Coma.
Yeah.
World.
The deck's actually not playing. One adjustment that I would probably make to this deck is I would add a main board win condition, because there currently isn't one. You just like do the old Omniscience things that you were doing with Meringue River Regent and Roiling Dragonstorm, except that there's no mill card. Like you don't have the Founding of the Third Path anymore.
Right.
So the way this deck is winning at the moment is cycling through their deck, sculpting the perfect hand, putting 4 Meringue River Regents into play, casting a Lost in the Maze, and then tapping down the Meringue River Regent so they have hexproof and passing the turn.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like quite cool. This deck is sick.
I love it when some random like junk dollar rare, and from Murders at Karlov Manor no less, Lost in the Maze is like a junky like dollar rare.
The jankiest of jank rares.
I'm gonna play this deck.
This deck is genuinely very good.
I mean, sorry, I'm sorry. The only thing that sucks is Uthros is still $60 because it's so commander playable.
Yeah, and like Avendo is also like $50.
The fact that like commander players having access to budget Gaia's Cradle and budget Tolarian Academy is good.
Yeah, 100%.
Does make things worse for standard players though, so you're not forgiven.
Play Arena?
I'm going to test this on Arena. But this is cool.
It's a very, very cool deck. And you have a lot of counterplay against Vivi. I still think Mono Red is a terrible matchup.
It doesn't seem like it moves fast enough
that. But you have enough like bounce interaction and a little bit of counter magic that your matchup into Vivi in particular is pretty good. And I imagine your matchup into Dimir is also quite good. I imagine Control is still quite hard.
Control is hard for most decks. It's one of those like the constant like the rock paper scissors, but the one that's like rock paper scissors lizard Spock that has like a bunch of different arrows that point in different directions, and it's like, you know, mono red still beats Control because it just moves a lot faster and is far more aggressive, and then Control beats like 3 different things, and then there's like one other random thing that beats mono red, and then yeah, I mean. Control is just hard in general, so...
Yep, I agree, and is traditionally a little bit of a hard matchup for a very linear Control deck, something that doesn't have your, like, normal amount of sculpting, like the ad nauseum decks of old, to harp on an oldie but a goldie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this deck is very, very cool. My favorite card in this deck, unsurprisingly, Lost in the Maze. That's sick. That's so cool.
What does Lost in the Maze do?
It's an enchantment for blue, X. When it enters the battlefield, tap up to X target creatures. Put a stun counter on each of those creatures that you don't control. Tapped creatures you control have hexproof.
That's awesome.
It's so cool,
right? I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever read the text of that card because it wasn't good enough like 90% of the time.
I don't think this card was draft playable.
No, like genuinely, like if that's an indictment of itself, it wasn't even playable in limited. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love it. I'm loving like the Simic decks are making me so happy. Yep. I love Simic as a color combo. So we had aggro, we have tempo. This is kind of
that was combo. The other deck, sorry, I very quickly wanted to mention in this bracket is Temur Battlecryer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm familiar. That's the Ugin deck, right?
Yes. I'm very intentionally not talking about it here because I think it is a little bit flash in the panty. I'm not sure it has staying power, but it is very powerful. And if you like a creature-based combo deck, give it a look. It's very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
But next is mid-range.
I have a feeling I know what you're about to say.
Yeah?
A second Orzhov Pixie deck has hit
the podcast. How did you know?
There was no way to know.
There was no way to know. Not the fact that I foreshadowed that there were.
That you foreshadowed that there were going to be 2 Pixie decks that you were going to talk about. No, I would never.
Never. So the mid-range deck I want to talk about is another Orzhov Pixie variant, and it is Big Pixie.
So we had Little Pixie, this is Big Pixie.
This is Big Pixie.
So what's Big Pixie?
Big Pixie is Pixie, but big. Crazy, I know.
What?
It is only on 8 of the Pixie effects, so it doesn't have the Ambrosias. It's just on Pixie and Kirin. It is on 4 Elegy Acolyte. It is on 1 Elspeth Stormslayer. And it is just... big. Its interaction is more general. It's playing like Get Lost and Seam Rips. And it is still leveraging the Momentum Breaker, but it's on 4 Momentum Breaker, 4 Nowhere to Run, as opposed to like a 2-2 split with things like Grim Bauble. It is kind of much closer to the Orzhov Pixie deck that Gabriel Nassif is known for playing. So Elegy Acolyte has kind of taken the place of Enduring Innocence, which is really interesting. But you're still just like playing for Cosmogran Zenith. So it's not like you're incapable of killing your opponent. It's just that you're looking to draw out the game a little bit more. And this sort of deck tends to play better against things like Mono Red, play better against things like Control. You are doing the Tiny Bones joins up thing.
Okay.
And in doing so, you do sacrifice a little bit of value into the Vivi matchup. But because Vivi is not overwhelmingly present, because Mono Red is still there, it's kind of a little bit more of a metagame call. And the fact that it is good against the controlling deck as well I think is a real point in its favor. Like, this deck is pretty good. It can match up well against Dimir as well, which the quicker Pixie deck often struggles with, because you have a little bit more card draw. You have kind of more coherent ways to deal with specifically Enduring Curiosity as well, which is often a big problem in the Pixie matchup. And Cosmic Grand Zenith continues to be like one of the most raw powerful cards in Standard, and this deck does a really good job of capitalizing on it. It feels so good to trigger a Cosmic Grand Zenith if you have an Elspeth in play.
Okay.
Big Pixie.
That is definitely big Pixie. And again, I like these streamlined Pixie decks that aren't, pardon my language, that aren't mucking around with blue. I just like them a lot more as a straightforward, linear path in the disruption Pixie plan.
Yeah, you do, of course, lose a little bit of your tempo power when shifting into Orzhov. But what you lose in tempo power, you gain in consistency, which is really important when you're shifting in that mid-range direction. I've toyed around a little bit with a mid-rangey Esper Pixie deck because Cryogen Relic is such a powerful card in a Pixie shell. It's just not worth it. Just play Elegy Acolytes. It's just better.
Crazy thing to say.
I know. Coming from me?
Yeah.
Like, I am not a famous Elegy Acolyte enjoyer, but card is just good enough. Right? It draws you cards, it makes some 2/2s. It's good.
Between Little Pixie and Big Pixie, do you have a preference as the resident Pixie enjoyer?
I'm
going to make you choose between your two children.
No. This is actually not close. I'm a Big Pixie enjoyer.
Really? Because based off of the way that you described these two decks, I like Little Pixie. I like the sound of the Little Pixie.
I think Little Pixie is better.
Ah, okay.
I just enjoy a mid-range Pixie deck. Like, I like the play patterns of Big Pixie a little bit more in terms of, like, the actual feel of playing out the game. If you want to win games, play Small Pixie. Small Orzhov Pixie is probably the better deck of the two.
Sure.
But the matchup spread is different.
It reads very differently. They interact very differently. Like, they do most of the same things, but they execute the plans. They kind of branch off into very different directions, especially because of the, the Cosmic Grand Zenith Elspeth path. Huh. I like this. This is very fun.
Yeah. I will say Small Pixie is much better at killing your opponent. If you want to feel like you're doing something powerful, play Small Pixie, because Small Pixie feels broken to play. Whereas Big Pixie feels like the kind of game that I like to play, where you just kind of like step on your opponent and push. You wait until they crumble under the weight of your value.
What's like that? You've got your like hand against their forehead, and they're just like flailing their arms at you.
Exactly.
You're just standing there like that.
Exactly. And you're like pushing them outside the wrestling ring slowly, one step at a time. Yeah, deck's just cool. That's what I'm playing right now, and I am enjoying it thoroughly and losing more than I should. So, last but not least, we have Control.
What's this Control deck like?
This Control deck is the greediest thing I have seen in my life.
Okay.
It's so... I looked at this deck and I was like, this is obscene.
Okay.
This is disgusting. I am talking about 4-color Control.
Oh, I've seen this pop up a little bit.
Yep.
And it's gross.
It's really gross. It's so powerful. I don't understand how you can ever justify playing 4 colors in this format. I don't get it. But it's working. And that blows my mind.
I mean, I'm sure the shocks have a lot to do with it. Being able to fix mana.
Yeah, but we don't even have good shocks for it. Right? We don't have Hallowed Fountain.
Well, don't worry. It's coming in Lorwyn. We found out this weekend.
It's very exciting. Very exciting.
So this deck has the potential to actually get better than it already is, and it's already messed up.
So I will say, if your mana is perfect, this deck is broken. It is incredibly powerful. It's very, very consistent, and it's playing like some of the best raw power cards for a controlling deck. It is on... So to clarify, you are essentially a blue-white control deck.
At the core, yeah.
Yep, you are still doing No More Lies, Get Lost things, consult the star charts, but you're splashing red for Jeskai Revelation and Lightning Helix.
Okay.
And you're splashing black for inevitable defeat and my favorite mind-blowing
Can I
thing of
guess?
all time. Yeah, please.
Outrageous robbery.
Mystical Teachings. Mystical Teachings, Kira. It's so cool. Do you know how much of this card I have played in Pauper over the years? It's so insane. It's deranged and delusional and so powerful. I love it so much. This is the deck I am a Pixie enjoyer. I talked about 2 Pixie decks today. This is the deck I am most excited for. It's so cool.
I genuinely have no words.
It's insane.
I mean, being able to not just splash red, but also black seems already insane.
Agreed.
The kind of cards that you're splashing for, like Jeskai Revelation, incredibly powerful card.
Yep.
Inevitable Defeat. As you've said, the Lightningest Helix.
The Lightningest Helix, indeed. Just exile target non-land permanent, Lightning Helix your opponent. That's pretty great.
Yeah, and then you're also playing Lightning Helix.
Yes.
Jeez.
So I will say, Inevitable Defeat and Lightning Helix are obviously doing massive, massive work in this deck. Because A, your mana base hurts. This is one of the few decks that Starting Town is probably better in than Multiversal Passage because you need your lands to tap for 2 or 3 colors of mana.
Yeah.
Like you can't having the correct basic is less important than having a shock that hurts you. This deck is so cool. This deck's so cool, Kira. Mystical Teachings!
What does Mystical Teachings do?
Mystical Teachings is an instant for 3 and a blue. It says, search your library for target card. Search your library for an instant card or a card with flash and put it into your hand, and it has flashback for 5 and a black.
Okay.
Yeah, so you cast it, you find your other Mystical Teachings, then you flash it back to find your Jeskai Revelation, and you Jeskai Revelation them. This deck is insane! It's so greedy and so diluted and just ridiculously powerful. It is the funniest thing I have ever seen, and it's good. That's the craziest thing, is it's good. Because it's really good against mono red because you have so much incidental life gain. And you have enough permission to deal with Vivi. It does definitely struggle into Dimir. And the matchup against Azorius Control is a little bit tricky just because they do have a little bit more by way of Planeswalkers to eke out incremental value. So if an Elspeth ever resolves, you're very scared. But in terms of like the raw power, the 4-color deck is the bigger control deck. You're card casting Jeskai Revelation.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I suppose as well, Starting Town being pivotal to the mana working in this, is really important. But I'm also thinking about, like, as you said, the good thing about shocks is once you shock them and they don't hurt you anymore. And so if we're getting, Blood Crypt and Hallowed Fountain and everything else that's coming in Lorwyn, that only makes this better.
This deck will get a lot better with Lauren, for sure. As mana bases get better, this deck will get better, and I'm here for it because this deck is cool. I love Mystical Teachings, Kira. It's insane that I get to play that card in Standard. What the hell?
Wow. Well, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
There's so much, and what I'm really heartened by talking about all of these kind of like below the surface, I'm going to call them the Marit Lage decks, is they're cooler than Vivi.
They're so much cooler.
They're so much cooler than Vivi is just a stupid combo. Yeah, it's a great deck, whatever. Like, good job. No. Generate free mana. You're so cool. But like, these are fun and interesting ways to play the game of Magic. These are fun and interesting ways to, within the game, Ouroboros, Genomorph Imago, make a 6/6. This is so much more fun and interactive than the Vivi decks.
All these decks are cooler than their tier 1 counterparts.
For sure.
Kona Omniscience is way cooler than Vivi Cauldron.
Oh, yeah.
Blue-green aggro, way cooler than mono red. 4-color control playing Mystical Teachings, way better than Azorius.
Is insane.
Wow. Standard is actually quietly very cool right now. If you set aside the top 75% of the field, which is
2 decks.
No, it is 4. It is. That does include Dimir and Azorius, but like 55% is definitely 2 decks. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, and it is worth playing and exploring because a lot of these decks feel pretty cool, and they will be the decks that come to the surface the moment that Vivi is gone.
Well, and we're on this, like, you know, we're currently at this, like, really annoying incline of trying to get to November 10th and trying to get to the inevitable Vivi ban. And so this is, like, really eking out just, like, up to the top of this mountain. And then I have a feeling that once we get there and we get whatever else is getting banned as well, we're going to be suddenly on this, like, roller coaster of just...
I'm very excited. Play Standard. It's still really cool. Have a look at these kind of decks that are sitting just below their surface because they're powerful and they're finally getting to a point where they're clean and efficient and they're good enough to consider playing seriously. I know I will be.
Every deck in Standard is going to be getting so much better once we have a full cycle of shocks.
Unimaginably
It's
so.
going to be the coolest Standard format that we've had in like the last 5 years, I'm comfortable to say. So I can't wait. And all of these decks... Kona Omniscience. Let's go.
Mystical teachings, Kira. Mystical teachings.
I can't wait. This is going to be great.
And with all that said, that is all we have time for today. New episodes release on Mondays at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can follow all our releases at Raise MTG on Instagram and Blue Sky. You can find Kira on both platforms at kirabobira.jpg on Instagram and kirabobira on Blue Sky, and myself at Meia MTG. A huge thank you for Hen House Recordings for the ongoing use of their space. And until next week, remember...
She's got a heart of gold, a nose for danger, and a set of jaws that can pulverize a cellar spawn in a single snap.